let's dive into the story of this former high-profile figure in the drug world, who's now building a presence as a social media influencer on TikTok. Her name is Sandra Villa-Beltran, and it all starts when she's just 17 years old. Growing up in Guadalajara, Mexico, Sandra comes from a family with deep roots in the drug trade, connections that carry significant power and influence. From an early age, she's surrounded by luxury, weapons, drugs, and commanding authority. Yet surprisingly, that lifestyle doesn't draw her in initially. Instead, she dreams of becoming a journalist, focusing on investigative reporting to expose big stories. She chases that goal with determination. She starts university, studying communications, and fully commits to her education. Things appear headed in the right direction, until around 1980, when she encounters a man. To respect privacy, we'll call him Javier. Sandra is captivated by him, and the attraction is reciprocal. Their relationship develops over several years. At that point, she's advancing in her university program. Then a heated dispute breaks out, possibly stemming from his controlling behavior, and it turns violent. Javier kidnaps her in a rage, isolating her for a period before releasing her. The trauma doesn't fade quickly. With Javier's links to the local cartel, he's capable of anything. Fearing another incident, Sandra realizes she can't remain in that environment. She drops out of university and heads back to Guadalajara, relying on her family's protective network. Naturally, abandoning her studies means letting go of her journalism aspirations. Immersed in the family business, she slowly gets involved and discovers she excels at it. Sandra is ambitious and resilient. She refuses to stay in the background, particularly in a field dominated by men. Her aim is straightforward: to climb the ranks and establish herself as the leading woman in the industry. She applies herself intensely, mastering the operations swiftly, enforcing strong self-discipline, and importantly, steering clear of any drug use herself, which sets her apart and builds credibility. This focus and dependability gain her admiration and key positions. Her striking appearance plays a role too, and she uses it strategically. She builds romantic and professional ties with top cartel executives, weds influential figures in law enforcement who are corrupt, and forms a significant alliance with Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, a central name in the drug landscape. These relationships accelerate her rise within the Mexican cartel structure. By the late 1990s, her trajectory changes once more with a connection to a prominent Colombian supplier, referred to in records under aliases like El Tigre. He's heavily involved in cocaine production in Colombia. Their bond becomes both personal and business-oriented. Colombian groups have abundant cocaine, but struggle with secure transport to U.S. markets amid tighter controls. Mexican cartels, though, possess refined routes, tunnels, contacts, and systems for large-scale movement north. Positioned between the two worlds, Sandra becomes essential. She facilitates the movement of enormous cocaine loads from Colombian suppliers to Mexican organizations, especially managing sea-based paths across the Pacific to the United States. This operation continues for years, yielding massive earnings. Sandra fully embraces the benefits, acquiring various upscale homes, a collection of premium cars like Camaros, Bentleys, Audis, and Mercedes, and an extensive jewelry assortment worth hundreds of items. She's now widely known as La Reina del Pacifico, the Queen of the Pacific, due to her control over that vital route. High-profile success attracts scrutiny. However, in 2001, authorities seize a ship loaded with about 9 tons of cocaine, headed for the U.S., prompting joint Mexican and American investigations. Evidence from communications and captured individuals leads straight to Sandra and her Colombian associate. From that moment, she's monitored closely by agencies on both sides of the border. The situation intensifies in 2002 when her son, still a teenager, is allegedly taken by rivals demanding a $5 million ransom. Sandra, with resources available, faces immense fear, not only over the money but the reliability of any agreement. She handles the negotiations amid escalating tensions from internal disputes, rival factions, and federal pressure. In the years that follow, additional intercepts and arrests weaken her circle. Sandra avoids detection for a time, sustaining her activities and opulent way of living. Finally, in 2007, authorities apprehend her during a standard traffic stop in Mexico City. Alongside her partner, charges include organized crime, money laundering, and drug-related offenses. The arrest dominates global news, the poised, sharp Queen of the Pacific in custody, U.S. officials seek extradition based on her involvement in U.S.-destined shipments. Legal battles extend with numerous appeals. Sandra denies major allegations, claiming coercion or minimal role. But recordings, testimonies, and confiscated property present a compelling case. She receives convictions in Mexico, serves her sentence there, then deals with extradition proceedings. After completing terms, she's freed in 2015. Post-release, Sandra Avila Beltran maintains a public profile. She authors a memoir reflecting on her experiences, decisions, and the perils of that life. In 2022, she launches accounts on social media platforms, including TikTok, where she shares everyday moments, beauty tips, fashion, and personal updates, gaining followers interested in her story. She also expands to Instagram and collaborates on ventures like clothing lines with Mexican brands, such as limited edition items featuring her iconic style. Today, she represents a rare case, a woman who broke barriers in a brutal domain, faced severe consequences, and later transitioned into a new chapter leveraging her notoriety online and in business. That's the complete account of how a young woman's journalism dreams, disrupted by one toxic relationship, evolved into dominance in international drug trafficking, and eventually, a reinvented life in the public eye. Wild how paths can twist so dramatically. Isn't it? Ambition always finds an outlet. Comment what you feel about this story.